Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel for my Game Week 2 team selection. A lot of you guys have asked me in previous seasons if I'm going to do a team reveal myself every single week here on the channel, rather than just interviewing other FPL guests. And this year I decided, why not? So, for this season, every single game week, I'm going to be doing a video on my team, my thoughts, my transfers, captaincy, everything you could possibly want right here on the channel. As you can see, I've had an unbelievable start, 4.2 million. So yeah, I've definitely picked the season for it. But if you're excited for this and you want to see my thoughts week in, week out, subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on so you never miss one of these videos. Without further ado, let's get into my thoughts for Game Week 2. Okay, first things first, I need to talk about Game Week 1, of course. I got 55 points, about 4.2-ish million in rank. Not the worst game week for me. To be fair, I don't really mind how the team does Game Week 1. It wasn't a horror, of course. Some managers out there did a lot better than me. That's absolutely fine. I was pretty happy with my team. I'll just run through it as a few decisions weren't exactly the same. One in particular, I changed very, very close to the deadline. I was very, very set on Elliot Anderson in over Reinders, but literally, I reckon 25 minutes before the deadline, I changed to Reinders. I just chased some upside there. Got pretty lucky. I'm happy to hold my hands up and say that wasn't a decision that I was thinking of loads throughout preseason. But yeah, over the course of, I suppose, that morning, Friday morning and afternoon, I even said it on stream, my team was locked in, but I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I guess I just sort of thought Anderson actually is quite boring. And I still think that Anderson is a great FPL pick, by the way, and he did exactly what I expected him to do in his game. Get an assist, was very, very close to getting 8 points because he was one defensive contribution away from getting up to 12, which would have gained him 2 more points. So I still love Anderson as a pick. I just went for Reinders. It came off. I couldn't ignore that attacking upside. And yeah, he was obviously amazing. He played a lot better than I expected him to play. I didn't know he was that good, but nonetheless, he did very well. Sanchez picked up that bonus point late on Monday night. Porro did well. I was a bit disappointed with the Nottingham Forest defenders, of course. Murillo and Nico Williams, they absolutely dominated that game. Obviously, a fortunate penalty. Well, arguably fortunate penalty for Brentford. Remove that clean sheet. Salah did well. It's what we've come to expect from Salah. He can have a poor game. It doesn't matter. He will always pop up with something. As Rodri once described him, a cuchillo, which is Spanish for a knife. He's just there. He's incisive. Maybe he's not the prettiest on the eye, but you always know he's going to do something. How many players in the league, by the way, can score with their weak foot from where he scored? Just think about that. I know one of them who can. Reinders. What a player. Wirtz, disappointing. He was not as involved as I'd have liked him to have been. He wasn't high enough up the pitch, but obviously going to be patient there. Palmer and Joao Pedro, they were poor, but Palace are a very good defensive team. In Palace's last 10 games away at big teams, thinking top 6 teams, we're thinking Aston Villa, for example, in the FA Cup semi-final, the final, of course, which they eventually won against Man City, the Community Shield. They've not actually lost any of those games. So it's pretty phenomenal stuff, and it was always going to be a tough fixture for Chelsea, but yeah, still disappointing. Watkins as well disappointed. Overall, not the worst game week, sort of middling, I would say, 1 point above the average. Let's move on to next week. Okay, so this is how the team is looking for Game Week 2. Now, initially, my plan before the season started was to potentially bench boost in this week, and I would love to. Actually, I mean, you can see here, Dubravka is predicted to get more points than Sanchez, according to Fantasy Football Hub. I've got Sanchez in at the moment because I'm playing Esteve, who I'm definitely going to start, who's also got that Sunderland at home game. I'm sort of hedging there, I suppose, because I don't want to necessarily go for a double Burnley defence and have Sanchez on the bench when it is Burnley after all. So it's a bit of a hedge. But yeah, as I was saying, I would love to have bench boosted in this week. Dubravka home to Sunderland doesn't get any better than that. Nico Williams away at Palace, absolutely fine. Porro away at City, yeah, not the best, but he'll be playing wing back. And Tottenham look a lot better defensively. I know it was only Burnley, but a lot of that game I liked from a defensive point of view. The problem is Mark Guiu, who's not going to play. And now it's sort of looking like I'm not sure if he's ever going to find his way into the side. Like Sunderland obviously had an unbelievably good start. Well, it's not going to be in this game week anyway. And who knows, it may not even be in game week 5 or in game week 8 are the potential bench boost windows for me. So that's a little bit frustrating. I'd say well done to you as well if you got your bench boost out of the way game week 1 and did well, because yeah, it's annoying. I don't want to have it like hanging over my head, and he is a problem. I'm going to struggle now to bench boost before wildcarding. I just don't see him jumping back into the team consistently enough, or jumping into the team even consistently enough to know that I'm comfortable bench boosting him. Maybe I could just do it anyway, but you want your bench all to play, obviously. So I'm not going to use it this week. I'm pretty set on that. Apart from that, I'm pretty happy with the team. Like, there are sort of some okay fixtures, some tougher fixtures. I'm going to captain Salah. Now, this is the tough decision this week. And I'll have a look at this in a second. If I had Saka, I think I would definitely go there. Although he is predicted to score the same amount of points as Salah this week, according to Fantasy Football Hub. I'm not sure I'd necessarily agree with that, but Leeds did look good against Everton. Although I think Leeds at home is a pretty plum fixture. Saka looked a bit poor against United. I don't know. I would definitely go for Saka if I had him. But yeah, I'm going to go for Salah. Look at that difference between Salah and Palmer's predicted points, by the way. Like, before the season started, I had earmarked Palmer for captain this week. I did say in pre-season, game week 2 was going to be a tough week for captaincy if you didn't have an Arsenal player. But after seeing what I saw, especially from Palmer against Palace, it just didn't fill me with enough confidence to necessarily captain him this week. The rest of the team, I'm just going to leave. If you guys know me, you'll know that I'm a pretty cautious manager, especially early on in the season. There's a lot more I can do with more free transfers than there is this week. I'm not going to be rushing to get rid of Verts or Joao Pedro, who, by the way, played pretty much the exact number of minutes I expected him to play, just didn't score, so that was to be expected. Watkins either. Again, I've got Brentford away. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, one more week of information and then we'll see after that. One thing as well, I just want to say on sort of knee-jerking, and I said this on the Sky Sports Fantasy podcast. For example, if I had Anderson instead of Reinders, right, I would have been very tempted on Saturday night to sell Anderson right there and then for Reinders, before Anderson had even played, knowing that Reinders was potentially going to go up in price. I might have just thought, I've seen enough here from Reinders. He's going to be an FPL gem. Now, he is going to be an FPL gem. However, now giving it a couple of days of thought, I think my plan would have changed. Because actually, I think that Anderson, as I said earlier, is going to become exactly what we expected him to be. A really, really solid 5.5 million option. One of the best in the game. So actually, would I have wanted to sell him? Probably not. And in reality, Reinders, yeah, I would have wanted to bring in, but maybe it would have been better to bring him in for like a Verts or a Palmer. And if it was a Palmer, that would have enabled me to upgrade Watkins to Haaland pretty easily down the line with just one more transfer. So the point being, if you've not got Reinders and you've got Anderson, or you've got one player that you're not that happy with and you want another player, I would just say wait a few weeks, wait 1 week at least, and then just reassess down the line, because yes, you may still want to bring in that player, and I think Reinders is definitely one that we all should be looking at and all should be in our teams and will be in our teams at some point. It's just who you replace him with. That's the question, and you don't want to get that wrong. You don't want to sell a good player just because there's something else that's a little bit shinier when actually you had more glaring issues in your team. Let's just have a look here at the overall points predictions of every player for game week 2. Salah 7.2, Saka 7.2, Haaland 7.1, Palmer 6.2. Then we've got Semenyo, Gyökeres, Gabriel, Bruno Fernandes. It's very, very close according to Fantasy Football Hub's predicted points, which means, in my opinion, if you do want to go elsewhere with the captaincy and sort of trust your gut, this is one of those weeks to do it. You're not going to get too heavily punished. I don't expect crazy effective ownership for any of these players. I would definitely go Saka. I think he is the best captain. Gyökeres is one. If you've got Gyökeres and he's high at 25.1% ownership, do you risk it? It's obviously a plum fixture, but he came off in the 59th minute in the last game. Fantasy Football Hub have his predicted points at 73, so an increase. I think I would risk it if I had him, but I don't love it, and I don't love how he played in the previous game, and Leeds looked very good defensively against a poor Everton, but Everton nonetheless. All right, let's round things off by looking at my AI recommended transfers for this week. If you guys want to get your own recommended transfers by AI for your team, if you want to win at FPL, then the link to sign up to Fantasy Football Hub is down below. It's 50% off right now. Top line of the description and the pinned comment if you're not sure what to do with your team this week. Now, interestingly, I was hoping before I clicked on this that the recommendation would be not to use a transfer. However, I'm being recommended to sell Joao Pedro for Mateta. This was the same recommendation, by the way, that I had before the season started, and it will probably be the same recommendation I'll have for a while, because as I said to Fergie on stream, to all of you guys in a separate video, I know that objectively Mateta is a better pick than Joao Pedro. I'm just chasing upside with Joao Pedro. You can see by their predicted points, Mateta's in green here, Joao Pedro's in red. Like, look at game week 4. Crazy. This is when Palace have a wonderful fixture, but still, like, Joao Pedro's baseline predicted points is just considerably lower consistently than Mateta's because of Joao Pedro not playing 90 minutes, not being on penalties. And those are two key factors. Now, I'm not going to do this because I do want to give Joao Pedro more time, but down the line, is this a transfer I can see myself making? 100%. So that's going to do it for my team for the upcoming game week. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Not too much to say, to be fair. You guys know, if you know me well and you know how I play, which maybe a lot of you don't, and that's sort of the point of this series, following my team and my thoughts this year, you'll know that I'm never ever going to be making a transfer in game week 1. It's just like, it's not something I do. I want to get more information. However, I'm pretty happy with the team overall. I think the decision making was all right for most players. There was that late change with Reinders coming in for Anderson, but yeah, one more week and then I'll potentially get a little bit more active. It's hard when you see other teams out there that are doing so well, getting 80 plus points. Like if you saw Fergie's video yesterday where he's got a crazy team, looks really good. You do want to jump on these players. I'm going to be patient though and wait at least one more week before doing anything too mental. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as I mentioned, subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to hear my ramblings on my team each and every game week this season.